Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some beautiful high-end fall decor pieces for any part of your home. Hello my friends, welcome back. I'm Ellie Lee with Ellie Lee Designs, and today I hope that you're ready for another budget-friendly project. I found some really great pieces at a really great deal, and I think you're gonna love how they turn out. So without any further ado, let's get started. I began this project by painting this DIY wood decor kit that I purchased at Michael's using my Americana acrylic paint in the color burnt orange for the first block. This kit was originally $14.99 and part of the 4th of July items they had on clearance for 70% off. Now just a quick tip, make sure that you keep an eye at the register because this item was marked at the store with an original price of both $24.99 and $14.99. Online, it only shows the $14.99 price in the original packaging, which leads me to believe that the sticker was added by Michael's. So just make sure that you are getting this discount or even purchasing it at the store at the lowest price mark. Then I used the chalk paint I found in the clearance section at Michael's. It was originally $7.49, so when I saw it for 74 cents, I thought, why not give it a try? This chalk paint is by Artminds in the color Fresh Earth. Now, I couldn't find it online, so I'm not sure if they're going to stop selling it, but if you get your hands on it, I definitely recommend purchasing it. It's really beautiful. Lastly, I used my Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle to paint the smallest block. I chose the brightest color for my largest block because I wanted there to be a nice amount of color at the end rather than having a lot of dark pieces grouped together. Once all my blocks were painted, I decided to give them a distressed look, and I began with the largest block. I used the Fresh Earth color on the body of the block. Then I used the Truffle color to add another layer of color to the body of my piece and also to distress the edges for added dimension. On my second block, I again started with the lightest color for the distressing, in this case being the burnt orange, and then followed it with the color Truffle. Now for my last block, and to create the best amount of contrast, I started first with the color Fresh Earth, then used the burnt orange. This really gave it a nice bright pop of color, and it really did do a great job of showcasing the different tones. I honestly love this part of the project so much because I feel like this is the part where you can bring your pieces to life and really give them character. Next, I took these clip-on pumpkins that I also bought at the Dollar Tree and pulled off the tops and clips so that I can paint them. They were too shiny for my taste, and I felt painting them would make them look high-end. I started with the same burnt orange I had used before and then added some of the Fresh Earth. You can use, of course, any color combination that you like or see fit or even have on hand. That's just the beauty of DIYing. Now, the one thing I would recommend before starting to paint your pumpkins is putting them on a little skewer if you have them. This will help to keep your hands clean and to paint the whole pumpkin at once rather than waiting for them to dry before you can paint the top and bottom portion where your fingers were. I also used a floral foam block that I had to put the skewers on while my pumpkins dried, and that was really helpful. Since they were also very shiny, I decided to paint the stem or trunk of the pumpkins in the color Truffle. To highlight the detail on each trunk, I used the color Antique Gold by Apple Barrel. Once that was completed, I cut the grape leaves off of some fall stems I had purchased at the Dollar Tree and began placing them on the top of my wood block. I then placed some pumpkins on the top of each block, setting them off to the side, and then added a little more of the burnt orange to brighten up my pumpkins. And then added a little bit of the dried straw from the bales I purchased at Joann, though I do recommend buying them at the Dollar Tree instead since it would cost you $2 rather than $5.99. I had a 50% off coupon and reward dollars, so in the end it actually cost me nothing, but if you don't have any coupons, the Dollar Tree will definitely give you a bigger bang for your buck. If you feel you're getting value from this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment in that comment section below, as this really helps my channel, and in addition it helps me learn the content you want to see and value most. Now I felt like I needed something to bring the whole look together, so I added some jute twine to the midsection of the block to complete the high-end rustic look I was going for. And to top it all off, I also decided to cut out small pieces of black cardstock to mimic a small chalkboard that I could place at the top of each block. And I used a chalk pen from the Dollar Tree to write a few fall-inspired words on each. The different layers of paint really made the pumpkins more lifelike and gave each piece a beautiful finish. In the end, I absolutely loved how these pieces came out and can see myself doing these in a variety of colors to fit various home decor needs. What do you think? For this next project, I started with 2 of the fabric-covered pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. You can definitely use them as is, but I wanted to give them a more high-end look, so I removed the fabric from both of them and set the fabric off to the side to use it in a future project. Once the fabric was removed, I used my foam cutter to cut a hole in the middle of both of my pumpkins. If you don't already have one of these, I definitely recommend getting one if you work with floral foam or styrofoam because it eliminates the mess and is quick and easy to use. Next, I grabbed some of the Bernay Softy Chunky Ombre style yarn that I had previously bought on clearance. Don't forget to save the wrapper because they almost always come with free patterns that you can use in a future project. I unraveled a decent amount of yarn and cut it so that I could wrap it around my pumpkin using a large plastic hand needle. The one thing that I learned when doing this first pumpkin is that I should have made the hole in the middle a little bigger since I was using a yarn to wrap the pumpkin in. At one point, the hole became too tight to pass the needle through, so I resorted to another method which I actually liked a lot, so it wasn't a problem for me in the end. But if you want a seamless wrapped look, I recommend that you make the hole larger, probably about the size of a quarter depending on the thickness of your yarn. I know this seems big, but from this experience, the yarn builds up really quickly, so you will need it. I ended up doing this on my second pumpkin. Once I was no longer able to pass the yarn through the middle of the pumpkin, I ended up cutting small pieces, and rather than passing them through the pumpkin, I used my scissors to tuck each piece into the top and bottom part of the pumpkin. Then, to give my pumpkin a more rustic look, I used my hot glue gun to glue strands of yarn to different areas of the pumpkin, and then I cut the loose ends off. The idea I had behind it was to give it a more rugged or jagged look rather than just a smooth wrapped yarn look. Now, if you've made it this far, please drop a little fall emoji in the comment section below, and thank you so much for the support. Next, I took my Americana acrylic paint in the color burnt orange and painted my second pumpkin. And once it had dried, I wrapped a yarn around my pumpkin just like I did with the first one, only this time with a different color yarn. I wanted to use this color yarn because it tied all my pieces together, and to be honest, because I just absolutely loved the color of this yarn. I decided to glue the small pieces of yarn to the sides of this pumpkin a little sooner than I did the last one, which was okay, but keep in mind that the styrofoam will melt when you apply the hot glue onto it, so just be careful not to put too much or you will have to layer up your yarn to build the shape back up. I had to do this a few times, but it was easy enough and you wouldn't honestly even know the difference. I then painted the tops of both of my pumpkins using the Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle and my apple barrel acrylic paint in the color Antique Gold to highlight the details of the stems, just like I did with the pumpkins on my wood blocks. Alright, now if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I invite you to do so by hitting that subscribe button below and hitting that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'd also love to hear what you think about this project, so please leave a comment in the comment section below. I love talking with you guys and just hearing your feedback. You also have some really great ideas. And if you have some crafty friends like yourself that may be interested in my channel, please go ahead and share on your social media or just click on the share button below and you can get that link and send it directly to them. And before you go, be sure to take a look at these other videos that I think you may also enjoy. And until the next one, bye.